Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. XRP is doing it. It is absolutely moving in tandem with the rest of the market. There are, as I highlighted in my very last video, certain coins popping off. You'll love to see it. They don't all go off at the same time, so if stuff you're holding hasn't gone yet, just chill. It's the same thing that I saw people concerned about when I jumped into crypto in 2017, because you can only hold a handful of coins, right? And if there are thousands of them, although back then I think there were, towards the end of the year, maybe like 1,600 coins or something. It's much lower quantity back then in 2017. But the point is, people held a small percentage of the coins that exist. Other stuff was almost always popping off when the stuff they hold wasn't. But the money really did cycle through. Doesn't mean everything will hit a new all-time high this cycle, but the market's moving in tandem. XRP is still in the top 10 here. And this is a time to be excited. So this video is going to be a very XRP heavy video. In fact, I've got perspective and analysis that I want to share with you from 6 different XRP chart analysts here. And all of this is happening. Think about this. This is amazing. All of this is happening at a time where historically we know crypto markets take off based on historically the 4-year cycle, post-election, all that stuff. And XRP has never been so primed. Pick an attribute, whether you're talking about relative strength index, you're talking about Bollinger Band, so on and so forth. You don't have to be a chart analyst, and I'm not, in order to understand this. XRP has never been so perfectly primed. I'll let the chart analyst speak on that, in fact. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice. And you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Now here's a post from chart analyst Mikey Bull Crypto talking about alt season coming up here. He says, alt season begins in every U.S. post-election. Buckle up, folks. It's about to get interesting for altcoins in the next few months. And this is just data. It's not a promise of what's about to happen. I always admit I don't know, but I do believe, based on history, well, humans more or less going to keep acting the same. We have the same behavioral tendencies. We're biological robots. And so, yes, absolutely, I expect history to continue rhyming with itself. And he actually highlighted this specifically with XRP. Here's another one from Mikey Bull Crypto, XRP USD chart. XRP huge acceleration is coming. Look at the past elections and see what follows. And you can see what happened the last couple cycles. Once that ended, rocket. Absolute rocket fuel. And this is the moment we find ourselves in. And it's, look, I'll say it again for the people that maybe are newer to my channel. I've been sharing that for weeks and months, that historically, once the United States presidential election is over, markets heat up. It doesn't mean it has to be literally that day or that week, but very short order, rocket to the upside. Now, in this case, it's even more exciting. The market was even more decisive than I think pretty much anybody expected. So much so that before we knew who the next president would be of the United States, just several hours before that, there was such confidence that it actually was going to be Trump that Bitcoin just took off. And the market went following after it. Incredible power. And so we've seen a number of new highs since then. This is not a fluke. This is what you should have expected to happen based on historic precedent. Doesn't mean you should have predicted it would literally be that day, but you get what I'm saying, don't you? History rhymes with itself. Now take a look at this post from chart analyst 360 Trader. And it's funny because sometimes he likes to poke fun at people, and I kind of like it. I kind of like his approach here because, first of all, so his work, totally reputable. He does kind of tease the XRP community a little bit, but he's certainly intellectually honest. He'll tease any community, though, to be honest. But look at this. So here's the XRP USD chart going back, a few years. And he wrote, "You're tired of XRP because the Yeet Zealot's been bull posting every day for 3 years. But, ... you can't deny the price pinch occurring here. It's been 1,000 days long, lulling you to sleep. Now I'm telling you, the explosion is coming. Sooner rather than later." And so that's the post he shared with his 194,000 followers. And so I've shared with you so many charts that are, frankly, the same or similar to this. And sometimes the analysts will draw back, going back to the previous market cycle, maybe to the peak of where Xrp was last market cycle. I've seen it drawn also all the way back like nearly 7 years from when Xrp hit its all-time high in the beginning of 2018. But the idea is similar. Just when it comes to this in charting, what you see is over a span of time, in this case, many years, which is normal in charting, frankly, you see a consolidation, a narrowing of volatility. I mean, you can see this. Look at the trend lines that he has drawn here. I've seen very similar stuff from tons of chart analysts. It gets squashed. It just does. And what happens after that? Well, it's going to break at some point. And typically before the apex is hit. He didn't even bother drawing the apex on this, frankly. I mean, look at this. He thinks it's... And so this is why it's well, number one, obviously exciting, but number two, this is happening at a time where we do see the market breaking out. To think that Xrp is just going to be like, well, I don't want to break out. I'm going to go sit on the side. Blah, blah, blah. Do you really think that's the most probable thing to occur? I sure as hell do not. Mostly because Xrp is not a sentient being. It doesn't make sense that Xrp would start talking like that with this weird mopey sounding voice. Take a look at this also. So here's AMB Crypto, XRP strategic breakout levels, what traders should watch for. Now this is interesting because AMB Crypto, they are one of those crypto media outlets, and there are a few that really stand out to me that will just, they've been for years on end crapping over XRP, conflating Ripple with XRP, saying stuff that factually is incorrect, but then sometimes over the years they also say some positive stuff. This is one of the articles where they had, although not perfect, they had some facts come out. Can you believe it? Can you believe they had some facts come out? AMB Crypto? It's crazy. So I wanted to highlight a couple of these things. So this analyst, Maxwell Mutuma, not familiar with the guy, but it's interesting because this is, I think it's fair to say, a pretty well-known crypto media publication. Lots of people undoubtedly, I don't know what the numbers are, but undoubtedly would be seeing this here. And so even they highlighted something that I've been telling you for this entire freaking year. Not that I pretended to know when the breakout would occur, and we're still waiting for the big one. Sure. But I've been saying the same damn thing, and I'm not a chart guy. It's just that I get perspectives from a lot of people who do chart analysis, and I make sure to do my best to just track people who are intellectually honest and don't have a terrible track record, not that everybody's perfect all the time. And then I come to my own conclusions now that I've been informed from a bunch of people that actually do the thing. It's aggregation of data, right? Pretty reasonable approach to coming to reasonable conclusions about any number of things in life. And so what I keep finding here is what I just showed you. It's another analyst here, in this case from AMB Crypto, no less, acknowledging the same damn thing. XRP prime fraction, triangle pattern hints at breakout. The weekly XRP chart showed a symmetrical triangle pattern. Oh, no way. Have I been mentioning that for the whole year? Yes, I have. So anyway, the weekly XRP chart showed a symmetrical triangle pattern indicating price compression towards a decisive breakout. The triangle's upper trend line has been sloping downward since mid-2021, while the lower trend line has acted as ascending support. No way. You don't say. You don't say. Then why all of these BS articles from you, AMB Crypto, acting as though everything's dire for XRP and such the poor performer? This is what you see. When you have an analyst who is willing to treat XRP like any other asset that they chart, what you find is, oh yeah, this looks good. This is probably a good buy in this range. Yeah, look at that. It looks like you got the symmetrical triangle. It's in another range, even a long range in this case of accumulation. Yeah, okay. But then the behavior that's poor because you haven't seen the big burst yet, it's portrayed as negative, which is the stupidest damn thing. As I say, and I have for years, not 4 years, F-O-U-R, but F-O-R, for many years. Either you have exposure before the thing goes, in this case XRP, or you do not. Because if you don't, then when it goes, sorry, too bad, so sad, probably too late. They also highlight this, and this cracked me up too. Check this out. Stable XRP reserves suggest holders expect future gains. And so they're highlighting that based on the quantity of XRP on exchange, yeah, I mean, there's nothing here that would indicate that the market's about to get dumped on. So if you do see a huge influx of any asset, XRP, Bitcoin, whatever it is, then you might get a little concerned. Oh, why is it going to exchanges? Well, why do people put things on exchanges? They're probably about ready to sell. Okay, so then if you see stuff going off exchanges, then it's the inverse, right? And if it's moving roughly sideways, then it's like, okay, well, then no big oscillations here. So what's interesting is this chart's going back to February, and I have highlighted on this channel articles from AMB Crypto acting like they're little asshat pricks from the SEC, highlighting very short-term action, and which allows them to portray an increase of funds to the exchange. But if you zoom out, as I always say, then you don't see that. This chart that they're highlighting goes back basically to the beginning of the year. Nothing wild here. That's weird. Did they accidentally spew out some honesty here? That's a surprise. Then there's this from chart analyst Dark Defender. This is an market cap dominance chart, and this is so fascinating here. So he says a lot here, and I'll just say at the outset, setting the chart analysis stuff aside, I don't agree with him on a couple key things, which I'll note as we get to them. But that's okay. You know, thoughtful minds can respectfully disagree here. But in terms of the overall idea of XRP's potential performance and movement to the upside, and he certainly does believe that there's going to be a breakout, you know, new all-time high, face melt, the whole 9 yards. Certainly, I get on board with that. So there's a couple things though that I do want to talk about, even outside of the the chart analysis. Again, not a chart guy here. Don't want to be. Bores me to tears. Even if I were a chart guy, it would be a waste of time because I wouldn't change how I invest. I'm very strict with how I invest. It's I buy stuff and I don't touch. I am like, I am the definition of hodler. Like I just am. I buy and I just, that's it. I buy. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll sell you in another decade. Like that's my mentality anyway, right? I've got stuff that I bought from 2017 that I still hold. Absolutely. I am very strict. But anyway, here's what he said. This is the anatomy of the alt season. We had this analysis before, and I've mentioned that November 24th will start the crypto bull run. Bitcoin dominance had its reversal in the monthly RSI as it did in January 2021. During this period, XRP went from 17 cents to $1.96. Since then, and by the way, I'll just note that XRP was supposed to, it wasn't supposed to do that. XRP was a dead coin, falling out of the top 10. What? The SEC sued it. You no longer have a right to exist, XRP, except for it stayed in the top 10 coins, which meant that speculators on a global scale said, no, it still makes sense. And yes, fair enough. It's true, and I've acknowledged this, and I don't like it. The price of XRP has been artificially suppressed. It's lower today than it otherwise would be. I don't think you could convince me otherwise. I've seen every argument under the sun, and there aren't many of them, frankly. But yeah, it's suppressed. Ain't going to stay there. I think the market's going to figure that out. When there's a mismatch in value, yeah, speculators do figure that out. But anyway, then he says, since then, we have had the following developments. Court decision that XRP is not a security. Numerous developments that Ripple secured, and I'll just pause and note, I don't care about that personally, because data shows that whatever Ripple has done with XRP, the most positive of XRP related stories that Ripple's ever put out there, hasn't caused the price of XRP to budge. It is a sad reality that the SEC has proven ability to move the price of XRP more than Ripple ever has. Just is, them's the facts. Not debatable. It's not my opinion. It's fact. And then he wrote here, central bank digital currencies preparations in upcoming currencies such as RLUSD, and then he names a few others. So first of all, I've seen Ripple, of course, announce RLUSD, the United States dollar stablecoin. Haven't seen the others. If I missed something, then somebody drop a comment. I don't pretend to be all-knowing. I know that they mentioned that there could be others in the future, but I haven't seen any official announcements of ticker symbols, which is what he listed there. As far as central bank digital currencies, I respectfully disagree. I think there's about a 0% chance you will ever see a central bank digital currency on the XRP ledger. Why would a sovereign country put up, risk to any degree, code that's in charge of somebody else? Like, why would you? Like, I mean, you are talking about, yeah, decentralized system, but if you're a sovereign government, that's the opposite of, you want the control. And understandably so, right? There's a great reason that decentralized systems like the XRP ledger exist, and there's a reason that XRP exists, and Bitcoin, so on and so forth. But if you're a sovereign government and you want to control your currency, why would you ever give that up? To what? What are the pros? What are the cons? There's only risk. And it's not necessary. You can use technology that cuts out middlemen and you can increase in processing efficiencies, all that, fine. You don't need to give up your sovereignty to a bunch of validators who are who knows where, because if you're a central entity that's a government, you won't be willing to risk even a fraction of a percent of the odds of something going wrong. But for a decentralized system, people like you and I and others building in businesses, there are all sorts of reasons where it does make sense to utilize that. Very clear. So anyway, I just respectfully disagree on that. And then he says, crypto-friendly SEC management and the U.S. incoming. Yeah, that'll be great for XRP and certainly in the entire space. And then he says, crypto-friendly president in the U.S. Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I think the markets responded accordingly. That's very clear. He also then said, XRP will lead the crypto industry by reclaiming the second position from Ether. Okay, yeah, I could see XRP potentially, I'm not predicting it, but I could see potentially XRP taking that number 2 spot from Ethereum. It's not crazy. It's happened before. XRP has, been, like I keep saying, artificially beaten down. It's been coiled up for almost 7 freaking years. So when this thing does blast, I think that's going to make people start to wonder, wait, maybe this thing could. Nobody wants to say that before it happens, except for, the Dark Defender. I'll acknowledge it could happen. But then he said this, XRP will take over its crown from Bitcoin by being the only crypto asset with complete regulatory clarity. Okay, I get the regulatory clarity point in the United States here, certainly, but I don't believe there's a remote chance that this market cycle XRP is taking the #1 spot in market cap. I'd love it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just living in reality here. I think there's about a 0% chance. There has been no indication that humans are behaving differently than they have in any other previous market cycle, which actually is part of what gives me the confidence that I have. But that also means that Bitcoin leads the way. And yes, profits cycle into ETH and then other large caps, mid caps, small caps, rinse and repeat. Yes. But then why would so much flow into one individual coin, XRP, that's the altcoin? I don't see that level of momentum. But the cool thing is we don't need that. We don't need that for XRP to hit a new all-time high, enter price discovery, and then be one of the top performers of the entire crypto cycle. Like, certainly at least for larger mid-cap coins, right? There's no reason to think that couldn't happen. But I don't. You tell me what behavior you're functionally seeing that would make it reasonable to believe that that's highly likely. Or even greater than 50% likely, because I just don't see it. I'm just being honest with you folks. Like, I don't see it. But I also don't care. Like, I don't need that. I just want to live in reality. And no offense to him at all. He's entitled to his opinion. I'm just sharing my opinion, which in this case is not in line, but that's fine. I respect people who have different opinions than I. I don't need people to agree with me. It's just an interesting topic to discuss. But, yeah, I mean, that's right. You guys tell me what you think. There's also this from chart analyst Egrag Crypto. So this post is from the other day before we saw the most recent Saturday run-up, and he was talking about XRP BTC pair. And he wrote, XRP BTC is currently down around 42%, exactly as I predicted back on May 16th, 2024. Okay, I will pause to note, it is true that that Egrag Crypto was warning that there was a reasonable chance you were going to see XRP continue to fall against Bitcoin, meaning, hey, maybe we weren't even at the bottom yet. As it turns out, that was indeed the case. He's pro XRP, he always has been. He was just being intellectually honest. We did hit a bottom on June 7th, and we are above it at this point. It went up a fair bit, down a little bit, and so we're waiting to see what happens. But unless something drastic happens, our bottom for this cycle, it indeed was June 7th. And so he was calling for something directionally that way, and I remember covering that from him at the time, and he was right. That is indeed what happened. But check this out. He wrote, and why is this good news? Because it's setting up for a massive rotation. Here's the roadmap. As XRP BTC takes a hit and Bitcoin USD surges toward a new all-time high, we'll see Bitcoin dominance drop. That's when the liquidity rotation will kick in fast and furious. Now, folks, think about this. And this kind of gets back to what I was saying about what Dark Defender had to say. If most of the money that flows in, the liquidity, goes into Bitcoin, how then, if a certain smaller percentage of what went into Bitcoin trickles through the rest of the ecosystem, XRP, ETH, so on and so forth, how is it then that we end up with a larger market cap flowing into XRP, like the money flowing XRP resulting rather in a larger market cap? And of course, I understand the money that flows in is not equivalent to market cap. I'm not saying that, to be clear. I know that. Duh, learned that in 2017. But how then, if there's less, how are you going to get... So yes, you'll have a greater multiplier effect. It makes way more sense to invest in XRP. Totally on board with you. But if you're talking in terms of that resulting in a crazy upbidding of price, resulting in a bigger market cap above Bitcoin, ain't happening this market cycle, if ever. Ain't happening. I don't see any reason to believe that that makes sense here. But so that's why when Egrag here, when he says, hey, Bitcoin dominance drops, well, yeah, what's liquidity happen? It's the liquidity rotation. And it does happen quickly. He is correct here. And then he says, first target, 0.000022. If Bitcoin USD reaches $100,000, this would put XRP around $2.20. You should be able by now to do the conversion and see where we're heading from here as we move forward. Yeah, I'll say this. So with the SEC attack last market cycle, we still hit $2 as a peak, as XRP holders. Not what we wanted. We wanted a new all-time high. But if it could happen under those circumstances, and now it's had even more time to consolidate, why wouldn't it go at least to that in the short term, if not way, way, way higher? And so, he's not calling the peak there, of course. He believes that XRP likely going into double digits this market cycle, which I think is certainly plausible. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't make predictions, but that certainly sounds very safely placed in the world of sanity. So I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. I just think it's plausible. Then there's this from chart analyst Cryptos. He says, very nice XRP bounce from important weekly support. Looking solid. However, I feel like this will drag for another week or two before a breakout. And, okay, fair enough. So look, as I've said many times, and I'm repeating it extra right now as the market's getting hot. Yes, again, of course, great to see XRP moving in tandem. Do not get discouraged if other coins that you don't hold rocket to new all-time highs and they have crazy performance relative to anything you do hold, XRP or otherwise. That happening is not an indication, that in and of itself is not an indication that you have chosen poorly. It is to be expected that most of the stuff you bought at any given moment isn't going to be running. And if there are tens of thousands of coins tracked on CoinMarketCap and Live Coin Watch, the odds are that you own a tiny fraction of a percent of them. And if money's going to be rotating through the entire asset class, then most of the time when you see coins running, you're not going to hold them. Mentally prepare yourself for that. That's okay. And then see what people do, though, who don't understand this. They will FOMO into these green candles, stuff that's already run, and abandon their positions that haven't run. And then when those positions they've abandoned do run, then they regret that too. Do not be that person. I mean, if you think something makes, I'm not telling you to buy or sell anything, you do whatever you want. Behaviorally, all I'm saying is, I don't think it makes sense. Of course, you can find anecdotal incidents where, depending on the specific timing, okay, it runs, but God, that is such a piss poor way to approach investing, broadly speaking. It's a really amateurish way to approach things. The best approach, as data bears out, including in the stock market, is you buy stuff and then you just hold for a really long time. And then as more money flows in, there you go. That's it. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.